Well, the cake bake shop over at Disney World on the Boardwalk has now opened, and we had previously talked about the menu that was released and the bonkers pricing that they had for many items on the menu, including $8 Cokes, a $32 hamburger, an egg sandwich that I believe was $32 or $26, somewhere in that range. And since then, before it had opened, they had lowered some prices on their menu, but now that it is open, they have a new experience that you can check out that, and again, in my opinion, is kind of bonkers on pricing. So we're going to read through this article from WDW Magic and give some thoughts on it here. So hi, I'm Jared with Capture the Magic. Now, before we get into this, I will fully recognize I am not the demographic for this. This is not something that I would be drawn to. So I have no clue in terms of if this is normal pricing for these things. I'm just simply being someone from the Midwest and someone who looks at some of this stuff and thinks that this is crazy. But I do understand that this restaurant in particular does have his audience typically in very affluent areas. And obviously there are multiples of this restaurant, so it has had success before. So I'm not really sure on all of that end of things. I'm just giving my honest personal opinions on this and, how it could relate to the theme parks in that way. So, all right. The Cake Bake Shop at Disney's Boardwalk has introduced the Roses of Gold Afternoon Tea, an elegant experience for guests who want to indulge in a classic tea service with refined touches. This afternoon tea includes a curated selection of premium teas, pastries, finger sandwiches, and optional champagne offerings priced at $95 per person. I'm assuming this is all that you get here for $95. Wow. Pricing, again, $95 per person. Children is $65. The tea selection, you can do a breakfast blend, an Earl Grey, an Anna Chai, an El Oriental, some French ones that I'm not even going to try to pronounce, but you may know those. You may like those. I'm not really sure. On the food, you get scones, finger sandwiches, and desserts. And then you do have optional champagne and wine. Guests can choose from champagne options priced from $87 to $460 per bottle. Reservations of Roses of Gold Afternoon Tea requires advanced reservations with no same-day bookings available. So you have to call or email of that as well. And they go through more of the teas there. Here are the champagnes that you can get. The scones are orange cranberry scone. The finger sandwiches are herbed goat cheese with thinly sliced cucumber, egg salad, chicken salad, and Norwegian smoked salmon. And then the child finger sandwiches are peanut butter and raspberry jam, basic peanut butter and jelly, French ham and Gruyere cheese. I know listen, I'm from the Midwest. You guys a lot of times comment about me pronouncing words. I'm not always going to pronounce them correctly. I do try, but again, I'm giving my best shot here. But I am from the Midwest. I do what I can. And turkey and cheddar. And then you have patisseries, macaron, a raspberry jam crumble bar, lemon bar, magic bar, tea cake, and chocolate truffle. Like I said, I don't know if this is in the realm of pricing for these types of things. I do know tea parties have their offerings. Typically, traditionally, this is with the ladies that like to do these things. If you were asking me, Jared, would you like to go to a tea party? I would say no. I have no interest in a tea party unless you're talking about potentially on this picture here, if this is full of meats and burgers and things of that nature. But finger sandwiches and light, scones and tea is not something I'm necessarily interested in, especially at $95. I guess I'm lost on, to me, I look at this food option here, and this is something that I would assume like finger foods and tea is like under $20. Like I would assume if you're just ask me off the top of my head. So at $95, like, you're talking about these price points. A lot of times these are for character meals. And so you're talking about $60 some for a character meal that includes, Cinderella or some, Disney character you can have a meal with, you can take pictures with, your kids can interact with. You're basically paying for the experience. You are getting food, but you can pay for the experience to have, these characters come around to your table. So that's basically what you're paying there. At this, I assume for $95, you're just paying to the atmosphere. Like, I don't know what's much different from this versus just going into this restaurant and ordering these things. But maybe this is something people want. I don't know. To me, this pricing is nuts. Again, this is just something, I look at the menu at this place and I am baffled by the pricing they have here, especially when you're talking about the $8 sodas. Like if you want to make the argument charging a lot of money for an item you personally make, or you make a great burger, okay, fine, that's an argument. But when you're talking about $8 sodas, $8 milks, like things that you're not making, you're just basically just handing them off, like pouring them out of a thing, putting them in one other thing. So this is a very high-priced place on the Boardwalk. Again, this place has been successful. Now, I do have questions about the longevity here in terms of a theme park setting with this type of, I don't know, like this type of setting, this type of clientele that normally goes here. I don't know if it translates to a theme park, so I'm not going to make any predictions about it because I just don't know. And let me know in the comments if this is a place that interests you. I would assume some people might be interested in something like this, but they wouldn't be paying the prices for this. Because again, this is before even tip, as far as I know. I don't know if this includes tip. So once you get out a tip on this, I mean, you're well over $100 per person. It does say optional champagne, but you have to pay on top of this. So if you want champagne, you're talking $95 per person. And if you get, maybe it includes a glass of champagne with it. I don't know. It doesn't really say specifically in here, but if you wanted a bottle of champagne, nope, it doesn't. So if you want a glass of champagne, at the very least, you're paying an extra $22. So if you want champagne with this, you're talking $115-ish before you even hit the tip on here. Again, this is not a Disney-owned restaurant, so I'm not going to go at Disney about this, but that doesn't help Disney's perception and really their reputation of being, overcharging and being ultra expensive and taking things away and charging more, and the current reputation that they have, and deservedly so that they have it. This place does not help it, even though I don't believe on any level Disney's controlling any of the prices here. They're renting space from Disney. Again, a lot of people pointed out, I'm sure it's expensive to rent space here, which could be part of the reason. But again, there's other restaurants that have rented space from Disney that don't charge this much for this basic of food options, in my opinion. I can tell you right now, if Jamie, my wife, my co-host on the podcast, wanted to do this, I would assume you'd be like, oh, how much is it? $30 per person? If she said $95, I probably would just fall out of my chair here, because that seems, again, pretty insane to me, considering how much other places you can go around the Boardwalk and really around Disney. As expensive as Disney is, at $95, you could get a lot of meals that include steaks. You could go to the Yachtsman and get a great steak. Like, there's a lot of places even around this area where you can get a lot more food for this money. So I suppose most of this is just the atmosphere of, I guess, being British royalty in some way. I don't really know. I'm probably not the right person to ask about this, but I do like to react to things. So I figured, hey, I'm going to react to this. And again, I could be completely off base, but just personally speaking here, this is pretty wild pricing to me. But either way, that's going to be it though for this video. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel, as we do lots of coverage here of Universal Studios, Epic Universe, Disney World, and pop culture. And let me know in the comments, do you think $95 for a tea party is reasonable? And is this something that you or anybody you know would like to do? And until next time, we will see you in the parks.